So what is a $350 phone anymore these days? And I asked myself that after using this Nothing Phone 2A off and on for the last few months. And honestly, the only thing that I miss from its bigger, more expensive brother here, the Nothing Phone 2, is going to be really the camera performance that I get with the Nothing Phone 2. And so let's go ahead and jump into that. So on this Nothing Phone 2A, you do have two cameras. You have a 50 megapixel main wide angle camera and a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera. And you can see that they changed the layout versus the Nothing Phone 2. So it's more horizontal and it kind of looks like eyes. I think that's actually what they call it. But yeah, it's a cool layout. But anyway, from the photos and videos that I'm showing you right now, you can see that they are pretty good. But compared to more expensive phones, I do find myself using that exposure slider, that little square that pops up on the screen, and you can slide it up and down to kind of adjust for the, the brightness of the image. Yeah, it's a little bit overexposed in some areas, and sometimes the highlights are just a little too much. But generally, just for everyday photos, things look pretty good. Now, when it comes to videos, you can only get up to 4K 30 frames per second while using the rear-facing cameras, and you can get up to 1080p at 60 frames per second using the front-facing camera. And of course, with the rear-facing cameras, you can record 1080p at 60 frames per second. But yeah, the 4K 30 frames per second video that I'm showing you right now is pretty good and stabilized, but I do use my smartphone a lot for my content creation, and I do find myself just wanting a little bit more from the video performance, and that might make me want to reach for my more expensive phone, but most people probably aren't going to be doing that. So generally, the photo and video performance is fine. So yeah, it's no surprise that the cameras on a $350 phone are going to be the worst part of the phone, but I say that again very lightly. It's the worst part, but it's nowhere near as bad as some other phones around this price point. It's right there in the league of other Pixel phones and things like that around this price, so the cameras do hold up well. But in the design department, nothing has separated itself from the pack, because I love the design of this phone. It feels like a more expensive premium phone. You do have a plastic frame with a plastic back, but it does feel like glass. And on the front, you do have Gorilla Glass 5, so that's going to be nice and durable. But yeah, you still have that transparent design that they have with all of their phones, so you will be able to see some of the circuitry and screws and stuff like that. And I think the design is inspired by like an NYC subway map. I think they say that on the website. But yeah, it looks cool. It looks very similar to the Nothing Phone 2. And this phone does come in two different colors. So you have the black version like I have, and also white. And if you are a little bit picky as far as like fingerprints on the back here, the white version will show the fingerprints a little bit less than the black version. And oh, they did drop a special edition color for this phone. It has like a little mix of blue and yellow and white. It looks pretty dope. But yeah, either color you go with, I think people will be happy with. And this phone is pretty light. It weighs 190 grams, but it's not cheap feeling either. But you do get a IP54 water dust resistance rating on this, so it's not at the higher end that you find with more expensive phones, but it'll be fine for those occasional splashes or accidental drops in dirt and stuff. But easily my favorite piece of hardware on this phone is going to be the nice and bright 6.7-inch display, and I'm gonna use the under display fingerprint scanner here to unlock the phone, and it's pretty quick and fast. But yeah, this is an AMOLED display. It does support HDR10 plus, and this does have a variable refresh rate, so it'll go between 30 and 120 hertz depending on what you're doing, and that'll help with the battery life. And I'm gonna turn up the brightness here all the way to maximum, and it's gonna look really bad on camera, but this does have a peak brightness of 1300 nits, so no problem with using this out in direct sunlight. So yeah, as you can expect, video watching, playing games, all that stuff is enjoyable on this screen. Just a really nice screen, especially for the price. I'm gonna say that a lot, but for $350, one of the best screens that I've used on a phone in this price range. And the screen is also an always on display, so when you do hit that power button, you can still see that it's nice and bright. And one of my favorite things about Nothing phones are the widgets that they have by stock coming on this. So yes, this is running Nothing OS on top of Android 14, but I love the widgets that they do have, and you can see that some of the widgets do turn red when you are interacting with them. And let me go back to the home screen here, so you can see I can hit that record button, and it shows you the time that has elapsed. And also, if I turn the flashlight on, it will turn red. And this little pedometer here is pretty cool. You can see your steps and stuff like that. And you have even more widgets to choose from here. When you go down here with the Nothing widgets, you can see you got some for the battery and also the camera, which is pretty nice. Just Nothing does a great job with their widgets. Very cool and stylish. And then also with the home screen, you do have a few different kind of like color profiles, but you can go into the settings, into the customization tab, and then now you can choose a different icon pack. Now the Nothing one will turn most of the app icons to black and white, and this looks pretty cool. So let me go ahead and back out here so you can see how this looks. So yeah, if you like this particular type of style, you can rock with this. is. And also I do like the folder management here on Nothing phones, because you can see I have the two folders right here in a circular layout, and I can tap on this to see more apps in the folder. But of course I can go ahead and tap on it and customize it, and you can see you have one here for grids, and also you have a default look there, which I like. And also you can choose like a cover image, and you have a few different like icons down here and emojis that you can choose from. So if I did have a gaming folder, I can choose that gaming icon there for that. And if you don't like these big folders, of course you can go ahead and minimize them to free up some more space. And just zipping around this phone, the OS flies on this phone. It feels very smooth, no stuttering, no hiccups or anything like that. And if I go into the settings here and into the about section here, you can see that this phone is rocking the MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Pro chipset, and also does have 256 gigabytes of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM. And this does have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and Nothing says this phone should last you around 2 days. But you know, for me, definitely all day use is what I can get from this phone without having to change my brightness and worry about what I'm doing on this phone, and that includes some gaming here and there. So yeah, expect a day to a day and a half of battery using this phone. And this does support 45-watt wired charging, which should give you around a day's worth of battery in around 20 minutes, according to Nothing. And of course, at this price range, you're not always going to expect wireless charging. So yeah, you don't get wireless charging with this phone. Oh, and as far as software support, so Nothing is committing to 3 years of major Android updates and 4 years of security updates. Oh, and I can't believe I went this long without talking about the signature thing with Nothing phones, and that's going to be the Glyph interface. And this phone does have it, but it's only like on the top part of the back of the phone compared to the full back like it is on the Nothing Phone 2. But honestly, I don't miss the rest of it that much, because yeah, you can use this for custom ringtones or for notifications. And even if you do start a timer, you can see that kind of dropping down there on the back. But the main reason I use these Glyph lights is for a fill light when I am taking photos or videos. So you can turn it on in the camera app, and it does add this nice soft white glow to your subject. Now, as far as connectivity, I do know that Verizon doesn't work on this phone, so just be aware of that. But AT&T, T-Mobile, those GSM networks will work fine on this phone. I've been using my Google Fi network with this, and it's been working pretty well as far as connection for me. But yeah, outside of that, this Nothing Phone 2A is just a rock solid phone for $350. If you're trying to save money, but you still want a premium experience, this phone does deliver on that. And yes, you can get a better phone for more money, but outside of the cameras, as I mentioned before, this phone doesn't make me miss my Nothing Phone 2 as much as I thought I would. And this phone is really setting the bar high for phones at this price point, as I mentioned before, with the display and also the design elements. It just feels and looks like a premium phone, and that's what I really want these days. But the performance is there when it comes to the software and things. So yeah, I'm just hoping that Nothing continues to develop phones in this price range to help push this category even further. But yeah, what do you think about this Nothing Phone 2A? Drop a comment down below. And also, I'll leave a link down below to more information about this phone in the description of this video. But like always, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you later. Peace.